Clerks, if you could rise, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we get a roll call as we call this meeting to order?
Commissioner Richards? Alderperson Denham?
Here.
Commissioner Green? Commissioner Hillis?
Here.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Here.
Chairperson Groman?
Here.
Commissioner Moriali?
Present.
Commissioner Mountanowski?
Here.
Commissioner O'Day? Commissioner Gore? We have a quorum.
Folks, for our regular agenda tonight, we only have one item on the agenda. That's a continuation of the discussions regarding a request for municipal code amendments throughout Chapter 94 regarding land disturbances. Can I get a motion to bring this item to the floor?
Second.
Good evening. I won't go over the history of land disturbance tonight like I did last week, but I do want to say that we have had a lot of developers in the past come to admin with concerns over the strict rules regarding land disturbance permits. And so that's really what brought this code amendment to the table. And it's that balance that admin and staff have been trying to work toward, balancing local regulations with the protection of both environment and citizens. And so what this code amendment will do is align local regulations with state and federal standards, which will reduce regulatory barriers while also protecting Branson's natural resources and supporting sustainable growth and the citizens. So to be real clear, moving forward with this code amendment, projects that disturb less than 1 acre will not need a land disturbance permit or an erosion control plan. And erosion control devices will be required as needed to prevent erosion and sedimentation onto adjacent properties. And then projects that disturb 1 acre or more, they will need a permit, an erosion control plan, and erosion control devices. And then the department, it'll still be handled in the planning and development department, specifically the stormwater division. And we currently have several enforcement options. Section 9410, that's this code. Chapter 74, solid waste. 58, that's our nuisance code. And then currently Chapter 18 is being amended to include stormwater best management practices for building permits. And then, what does this address? Ultimately, the intent of this land disturbance code is to address sediment erosion control for large-scale land disturbance projects, aligning our rules and regulations with state requirements, and not necessarily for stormwater runoff for single parcels and or small-scale construction projects, which are handled in other sections of our code. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to speak to them.
Any of the commissioners have any questions?
I just want to make, you are working on Chapter 18 right now, correct?
Yes, sir. They'll be presented to the Board of Aldermen both together on December 26th. Oh, November, sorry. Yeah.
Any other comments or questions by the commissioners? I see some folks, they're present today, and there was some confusion in the closing of the public hearing, and so in exercising my power as chairperson, I'm going to allow for comment from attendees if they wish to make comments. Please step up to the microphone, state your name and whether you are a Branson resident, and please don't forget to fill out the sign-in sheet. Anybody from the public want to speak?
My name is Mark Ruda. I am not a resident inside the city of Branson, but own several parcels inside the city. Generally, I guess I just wanted to say a few things. Number one, with the development that Hershans are doing outside of the city, that Johnny Morris is doing outside of the city, that Hollister is doing adjacent to us. You know, those things are competitive areas, competitive projects, et cetera. And I guess I'm not going to speak to whether they're doing them there because of regulation, but that is one advantage, is all those areas have a little bit less red tape, if you want to say that, to go through to build developments. And I guess what I'd say is, as a city, I think that we need to decide, do we want more development? And if we do, then we need to encourage it. And I think that having manageable ordinances and manageable things in comparison to our surrounding area is probably important in that. I think that this change goes in that direction, so generally I'm supportive of that.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else from the public that wants to speak?
Am I allowed to ask a question, or a technical question, or is it just comment?
No, sir, your purpose is to address the commission.
Okay.
State what you want to state, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
Sir.
Carl Finkenbinder with Granite Construction and MRG Group, not a resident of Branson, but like Mark, do a lot of stuff in Branson. I guess I'd echo what Mark said to the extent that generally I'm supportive of the direction we're going. I don't object to the issue. I'd like us to consider, I guess this is my recommendation, that the commission explore going a little bit further as it relates to disturbance beyond 1 acre. So I think this is, like he said, the right direction. I think that one of the recommendations that I had previously in the roundtable was that we explore, or that Mike Stalzer did, who's with our group, that we explore, instead of making things more onerous within the city limits of Branson, recognizing that the Department of Natural Resources already has to permit any land disturbance beyond 1 acre. We don't necessarily need to duplicate that process. So moving forward, if it's beyond 1 acre, I would like the city of Branson to consider that. It's, as he said, it would make Branson a more competitive place to do business if it was similar to what the county permits. And the county just basically follows Department of Natural Resources. Anytime we do any land disturbance, whether it's 1 acre or less, doesn't matter, any type of clearing, we have to go through Department of Natural Resources and tackle all the issues like cover coefficients and all that kind of stuff. We've got to do that. And they have an enforcement arm. So in terms of saving money for the city of Branson, it has an enforcement arm. And I can promise you, because it happens all the time, today it happened. We did a clearing out in Taney County. We started burning trees. Immediately, people started calling Department of Natural Resources. Within 2 hours, the Department of Natural Resources was on site saying, looking through our permit, looking through whether or not we did everything right. And sure enough, we did. We had our BMPs in place. We had our permit. They said, nope, they're doing what they're required to do, and they left the site. But they have a very aggressive enforcement arm. So I just wrap it up by saying I'm supportive of the current ordinances as it's set, but I would ask that for clearing beyond 1 acre, we explore going further in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your comment, sir. Anybody else? Do any of the commissioners have any further questions that they'd like to ask Trace and her staff?
Why did we take out the geological surveys from the land permits?
Which line are you talking about?
Well, in a few of them, when it comes to land disturbance, some of the geological surveys are not required. They're not required. The geological surveys are not required if they require a land disturbance permit. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, the state doesn't require them. We didn't feel that it was necessary. We do still require soil types for the hydrology report. That's really important. But, yeah, to align better with state regulations.
Ruth?
I would just like to thank staff for all the hard work that's been put into this. And I know it's just been, there's been different comments from every direction with concerns. And Kathy Stepp, Alex, Gerard, you guys have just been people of your word. You're greatly appreciated because the annexation process comes into play, building permits come into play. So I think any way that we address these, it's going to feel like it's the horse before the cart. But we have such confidence in the planning and development staff and our city administration that all of the issues will be addressed. We just have to do them one at a time. So it's understandable why there were concerns. As far as the permitting in Branson, we're looking at it from a city of Branson standpoint, not from other cities, but for what the community within Branson really wants for this city. So I'm just appreciative and look forward to the annexation getting addressed and the different building permits and the landscape ordinance being addressed as well.
Any other commissioners have any comments or questions? I have one question. My understanding of this as to land disturbances, an acre and above, is this brings our requirements in conjunction, synchronizes them with the state, and that our requirements are basically the same as the state and are not more restrictive than the state. Is that a correct statement, yes or no?
Yes.
I wanted to address that question because it came up. So if I was building in Hollister or I was building in Timbuktu in Taney County or state of Missouri, I have to comply with those same requirements if I'm over an acre. Is that correct? Is your understanding?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. We're not debating, folks.
The requirements are similar, if I may clarify. The difference is we require it as a permitting system, so we require all of that documentation to be provided to us for review, which is the distinction between what we are requiring and what the state is requiring. The aspects of it are covered in both, but we ask for those documents to actually be provided, to be reviewed, for that permit to be issued. Is that correct, Mr. Lawler?
Yeah, that's correct. And I went over it last week too, but we're required to issue our own land disturbance permits by the state since we're a regulated MS4 community. We are the only regulated MS4 community in Lake Taneycomo watershed. So, I mean, that's why Hollister and Taney County, they don't issue their own permits, but we are required to by the state.
Any commissioners have any further statements or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the request for municipal code amendment throughout Chapter 94 regarding land disturbance. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? Do we have a second? I'll second it. Let's perform a roll call and have a vote.
Alderperson Denham,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis,
I abstain.
You need to give a statement as to why you're abstaining.
I'm just not sure that I don't want to say no, and I don't want to stifle business. At the same time, I'm just not sure that I can say yes to a couple of the items in here.
How does that meet your,
It just, because of the conflict of interest, you could be abstaining for something that's required for you to put in writing. And so I have to know the reason for the abstention. It could be that you make millions off of getting these permits or something. And so that's why it has to be clarified as to what the reason, so that there's no misunderstanding and, of course, for transparency. So we can go ahead with the roll call vote.
Okay. Vice Chairperson Dieger,
Yes.
Chairperson Groman,
Yes.
Commissioner Moriali,
Yes.
Commissioner Martinowski.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5 yay, 1 abstain, motion carry.
Thank you. Do we have any reports for the commission? Any commissioners want to make a report? I just wonder, is there anything in our bylaws that says what happens, how an abstention vote is counted? I'm just curious. Forget it, I can find out tomorrow.
We have Holly looking into that. Hold on just a moment.
When a member of the commission abstains from voting on any matter, said vote shall be counted and shown as abstention.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda would be adjournment. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn the November 14th, 2024 Planning Commission special meeting.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
No problem getting a second here, huh?
Okay, roll call vote. Alderperson Denham? Commissioner Hillis?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Yes.
Chairperson Groman? Yes. Commissioner Moriali?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinowski?
Yes.
Result of the vote, 6 votes yay, 0 nay, motion carried.